Hey, Ape Nation, how you doing? This is Jim Marin, coming to you from the Great Canadian Apes, and yeah, awesome. We had the first of many catalysts in Progenity with their PR release today about the patent that came out yesterday. Still didn't say anything about the big patent that came out, huge patent that came out a week prior. So they're still saving that for a future date. But nice to hear that press release from Progenity, and we'll be bringing that to you. With that, traded up 15% pre-market, hit $1.71. After the Fed announcement, it ended up going down, but it's now up after hours at $1.46. So it got 2% back from that 7% down. So for the day, down 5. The University of Nebraska released new positive data on the drug delivery system. And this is where the pill goes to the affected area and releases the already FDA approved medicine right to that affected area. So it's a little magic pill, goes right there, opens up. And so all kinds of companies can work with PROG with that. They're going to have many suitors just like the Bachelorette. Options data, including this week's, and kind of crazy this week. It's going up and down by 30% in a day. Hope you're winning those lottos if you're playing them. And a lot of people are picking up for a couple cents. See what'll happen to $1.50 or so. And then we have the leaps going on till 2024. For me, I'm still buying shares. I'm just buying shares. Because at $1.46, holy smokes, that's cheap. So I'm buying shares. Hedges price target and the analyst price target and our price target will show you. And then we have Ortex short data. Went up huge, almost double digits today. The Great Canadian Apes. What are we about? We want to bring you information on emerging companies, such as that are solid, have solid, like catalyst that could happen. Very exciting, like Progenity. But if you have any others that you want us to take a look at, we'll take a look at. We're still going to be doing Progenity, a couple times a week anyway. But if you have anything else that you want us to take a look at, give us a shout. HODL, when it's good for you, take profits, buy low, sell high, right? And it's not about hodling until you die. But I mean, even though you might want to get rid of your shares when it goes so low, like $1.10, $1.20, that's the time to buy usually, right? Not financial advice. I tell you, it was hard for me actually. One of the hardest purchases was to purchase at $1.16 because I didn't know how further down it would go. But I did some further DD on that. I put it in yesterday's video, and I'll go over it briefly again today. PROG is looking very good long term, not financial advice. Please subscribe, like, comment, helps the channel. Thank you so much. Okay. Yesterday we brought you that Progenity's new patent is currently up on the US patent website, and the link to that patent, if you want to go through the 1,000 pages that it is, it's awesome, is underneath yesterday's video. And with that, we did get the news release from Progenity today. And so Progenity strengthens intellectual property for single molecule detection technology with additional patent. So they're counting, the count, like Sesame Street. They're counting single molecules. That's crazy. And so we have added another important patent to our IP portfolio for the single molecule detection platform, which is designed to enable sequence-free counting of target analytes, including cell-free nucleic acids. We believe this approach may have important near-term impact in the fields of non-invasive prenatal testing, NIPT, and liquid biopsy. This latest patent covers key compositions and methods for labeling target molecules, said Matthew Cooper, General Manager, Diagnostics. This platform has the potential to greatly reduce operating costs and reduce turnaround times for genomic tests, with the potential utility extending from nucleic acids to proteins. We are committed to maximizing the value of our patent portfolio, and are actively assessing partnerships and other approaches that may expedite a path to the market. And so we'll put a link down there for you to connect with that further. And another breakthrough step forward for Progenity and their Preeclampsia product. As the market forecast for prenatal testing, as we said yesterday, is to increase 12% this year and 77% in the next 4 years to an $8 billion a year market. And they're, with this preeclampsia, thought to be one of the leads. And so this is the article. I'll put a link to that under the description from the business research company, stating by 2026 it's an $8 billion a year market. Sweet. Okay, Progenity in the news again today. Findings from Nebraska yields new findings on drug delivery systems, a factorial approach to optimizing the design parameters of a tissue attachment mechanism on drug delivery, drug and therapies, drug delivery systems. So, what did they do? I'll just read a couple lines. Multiple in vivo optimization levels were performed using the small intestine of anesthetized pigs, and an attachment success rate of 92% was achieved. Optimal TAMs were surgically placed in vivo to determine the duration of attachment following anesthetization and surgical recovery. The average was in between 32 hours and 9 hours. So they wanted to know. So according to the news editors, the research concluded this work establishes a device for consistent and reliable attachment duration, making the TAM a suitable candidate for a 24-hour systematic drug delivery platform. And this research has been peer-reviewed. And so these are the findings. And yes, they will work with large animals such as a pig right before they work with people. But we do also, from other studies, already have human testing that came back similarly with awesome results. And what does that mean? Well, that means our wonderful Ms. Proggy has all kinds of suitors, because what the pill is you can put the medicine that's already FDA approved from a Pfizer, from Amgen, from AbbVie, from Sandoz, from Johnson & Johnson, from anybody, and put it in to this nice little pill. And then it goes to the affected area, and it is the vehicle, the DDS that PROG has patents on, is the vehicle that all of these medicines can go directly to the affected area. Says two things. Number one, they're already studying with less, perhaps even less medicine can be used of this costly medicine. So it's easier and more affordable for more people to have this. No doubt it's going to grow revenues all over. It will just make it easier for more people to afford. And there's less side effects, because the medicine doesn't go into your arm and goes through your body to be able to get to where it needs to go, like in your colon or something like that. This goes right to your colon, opens up, and puts the medicine right on there. So she is the lovely vehicle that all these wonderful suitors can have their medicine within, and here you go. All right, so Progenity will have many suitors to choose from, and maybe PROG will connect with them all. European price action on the Frankfurt market. PROG was down 7%. Previous close was was 134 euros. Opened at 133. Had a high of 140 on very late trading. Had a low of 124 where it closed. So that was at $1.39 US. That was right around where after and then after that, so that would have closed early this morning. Then it went up from there. Progenity European Tour in Belgium on February 9th, and at the European Crohn's and Colitis Organization at ECCO 22 in Vienna, Austria, February 16th to 19th. And as presented in previous videos, the medical team that Progenity has going out to these is awesome. One was the actual co-founder of the European Crohn's and Colitis organization. Awesome. Another one was a past president. And so we have some all-star lineup that's going to be presenting some all-star material in February in Europe. Thank you. And for all your comments from Europe, thank you very much. Price action today. We had a pre-market, went up to $1.71. Great pre-market. Ended up down 70% for the day. Volume of 17 million, so it's higher than normal. Previous average for the last couple of weeks has been about 10. So this is where it needs to be able to really get some action happening. Opened at $1.55, had a high of 166, low 138, closed at 143, down 11 cents. Now it's up 3 cents after market to $1.46, so it's down 8 cents on the day. The $1.50 level provided support and resistance. Hedgies are going to be looking at this $1.50. We're going to take a look at the options with that. It's going to be a key level all week, and to be able to take a look at the what happened today. So yeah, in pre-market we had it was way over the now look at that gold on the minute chart. Look at the golden cross that happens. The 50-day moved up and over the 200-day, and it shot up to $1.71. And then we had a death cross at about 8:10, where it came back down. The 50-day broke through the 200-day, and now there we had a nice run up. The first 5 minutes of the open, so lots of buy orders going in there, but then back down to, unfortunately, the 150, and that provided a nice level of support. And so I picked some up here, my average is about $1.85 right now. Used to be up in the threes, but again, I'm not going to hodl till I die. That sort of thing. You need to be able to take care of yourself to be able to keep on playing, keep on being part of the movement, to be able to get these corrupt hedgies out of there. And we got to keep on being liquid in order to do that. And the 150, notice that it was support here, and then it was resistance through the middle of the afternoon. And then what happened at about the 2 o'clock, 2:30, of course, is when we had Powell coming on, and right before that it was over the 150. Then it dipped down to $1.46. When Powell was actually talking, then it actually rose, because it seemed to be some pretty good news. It wasn't really bad news. It was what everybody had expected. And there was no specific price that I could see when I heard it, any specific date or amount. And so with that, then it went up. But in the question period, then it fell right back down, as did the SPY, as did the NASDAQ. And so by the end of his talk, it went to the low of the day at $1.38, but has recovered to $1.46 after that. If we take a look at the PROG weekly, one of the things that we can see, take a look at the MACD. So the MACD right here, it's ready to just swing right around. And so if this continues into tomorrow's trading, then we're going to see that the MACD on the 1 hour 1 month chart is turning to the upside here, which is great. And again, just a quick look at some people are saying, oh my gosh, the sky's falling, it's going to go to where it was before, 65 cents. The only reason why it went to 65 cents on August 20th is because on August 20th, unfortunately, Progenity, who needed cash at that time, announced that they were going to sell 40 million warrants and common shares at $1, and it was trading at $1.50 earlier, like the day before. And so it naturally fell to like 65 cents, where it gradually recovered. It pretty much stayed there for about 4 or 5 65 weeks, and then with news with the patents and etc. Then the FOMO coming in, and then it was on the short squeeze list, number one for a number of weeks, went up to the 620, etc. But the only reason why it went down to 65 cents was because they said that they did have an announcement of 40 million shares that are going in the market. Now, Addy, this has already said publicly that they don't need money until they're solid through and into 2023. And so they did capitalize on the increased price share up here. And so, but to be able to think that it's going to go down under $1, I don't think so, because they don't. The only reason why it was is because there was the big offering, and he's already said they don't need that anymore. They're entering this $8 billion a year market for preeclampsia. About $4 billion right now, 4 or 5 billion, and then it's going to be $8 billion in about 4 years. So, and even this year, they get that to market, they're going to have a lot of money. Okay. Options expiring January 28th. Hedges price target is going to be under $1.50. Here we see the in the money calls, not many. Out of the only 5% is in the money. 95% is out of the money. I know today there was a bunch of people. I almost bought it myself. I almost bought these $1.50s yesterday for. It was when it was trading at like $1.25, that sort of thing. It could have bought them for about 3 cents, and then at today's run up to $1.66, they would have been worth like 10x. And so things like that can happen, but you can also lose on them. They're lottos, right? The puts similarly, but not as extreme. We have 41% out of the money, 59% in the money. The hedgies will have a lot to gain. The closing price this week is less than $1.50, and I believe this is where the bulk of the TNA lies. It's where is the options? Where's the max pain or max gain for the options? That's what often determines what the price is going to be at the end of the week. This week at $1.50, there's 551,000 calls and 236,000 puts at $1.50. They're going to be fighting for that. That's 800,000 calls and puts. Now, the most popular leap, and I want to cover this continually moving forward, is the $2 January 2024. The last price on that was 89 cents. Current bid is 75. Current ask is 85. So let's say right now it's probably in around 80 cents. The IV on this is 128%. If this kicks in, that could be it could be a good leap, that sort of thing. For me though, you still have to buy that $2. I'm a big fan of leaps, but I don't know. Like, you still have to pay like 90 cents for it right now, and the stock's trading at $1.46. So for another 55 cents, you own the share, period. So, that's just something to think of. And in order to get this price up and going, and this is where Great Canadian Apes and the ape movement across the world, thank you for all your support. This is where buy the shares, man. Not financial advice. Buy the shares. If you want to see this thing go up, buy some shares, right? Rather than the leaps or something like that. Just for a little bit. Let's take a look. Yeah, the hedgies continue short today, 8.8% with a very low cost to borrow. Let's say the SPY was red. NASDAQ was red, down 200 points. NASDAQ 100 down 200 points, down 1.5%. The Dow Jones was down 500 points, down 1.5% for the day. And so everything was red. And so PROG being down 5% for the day is in with that. The shorts. Isn't that crazy? This thing goes up and down like a friggin' yo-yo. And you know what? That is why I took a picture of this earlier. Look at this. Short interest change. Buck up 1.69%. Borrowed shares, 2.52 million. Isn't this like borrowed shares? Isn't that borrowed shares like the amount that they actually borrowed today? Right? They have another column for returning them, but this is like how much was borrowed. And so I'm just going to write that down. 2.52 million borrowed. And I'm going to take a look at it later, right? In a moment when I go back to my file. Utilization 79%, so it's not difficult to get, especially not at 13%. Back in November, this was in the hundreds of percent. Days to cover 0.51, so they can manipulate the market whatever way they want. Unfortunately, right now, shares on loan 22 million, and so there is 12 million in the current short interest. So there is somebody with the back pocket having 10 million shares in their back pocket, ready to manipulate the market at any time. Yesterday we had from the settlement date of January 14th in, and it was reported that there was 13 million shares, or roughly 10% of the float was short. And so for a short squeeze, you're looking at 20%. Now, the percent of free float on loan is, 16%, which is much closer to 20, of course. But the actual how many have already been shorted is just 9.7, with days to cover 1.28% of free. So estimated short interest percent of free float is 8.94. It's a much bigger float than it was earlier as well. We're looking at about 130 million free float right now, whereas prior it was down around 90. Yeah, so let's take a look at that. So 2.52 million. Look at this. I created this about an hour and a half ago, and the borrowed shares was 4 million. I don't know, man. This is still a hugely manipulated stock, and funny business goes on all the time. If somebody can please drop a comment to be able to tell me how borrowed shares for the day can drop from 4 million, where it was an hour and a half ago, to 2.52 million, that'd be great. I'll learn something and pass it on. But to me, this borrowed share number is how many they borrowed today. It's a daily total, and it reboots every 7 a.m. Yeah, so that's interesting. More craziness. All right, price targets. You got a low at $2. What's trading right now? $1.46. Buy some shares. Get it up there. Not financial advice, but this is the analyst saying the low on this should be $2. And that's a manipulation that's going on. The average is $6 and the high is 12. And who knows what can happen if our wonderful Miss Proggy ends up dating all those guys. And who knows. So here we had, so for a wrap up for today, first of many catalysts in for Progenity PR release on the patent that included the preeclampsia single molecule counting patent. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Holy smokes! How do you count molecules? It's crazy. Anyway, they're doing it. Traded up 15% of the pre-market after Fed announcement. It was down 7%, and closed down 7%. But after hours went up a couple percent. So we're down 5% for the day. The University of Nebraska released new positive data on the drug delivery system. 92% effective. PROG will have many suitors, just like the Bachelorette. Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, AbbVie, Ionis, etc. Anybody that has a FDA-approved drug. that can go to the affected area. They can team up. Sweet. Options data including this week's, and so yeah, there's going to be some craziness still going on. They're going to go for $1.50. Hedgie's price target is going to be $1.50. Analyst price targets, as you saw, anywhere from 2 to 12. Our price target for the week, I think it's going to remain around that $1.50, and you never know, because this just might be the week. There's one of these weeks going to happen, and it's going to like boom, and all of a sudden the shorts are going to be trapped in there, and I can't wait for that to happen. Ortex short data, shorts are up 8.88 today only, but then all of a sudden they're not up that, so it's kind of crazy because I thought the market closed, and I took that at 8 p.m. The Great Canadian Apes, we're bringing you information on emerging companies such as Progenity. We love Progenity. We're going to keep on covering Progenity, probably 2 or 3 videos per week on it. HODL, when it's good for you. Take profits. You have to take profits along the way. I was up hundreds of thousands of dollars. Anyway, you got to take profits. Yeah, I want to tell you what happened at the end. I think many of us were up a lot. And did we take some profits? Maybe some, but we could have took a lot more. Buy low, sell high. PROG is looking very good long term. Not financial advice. Please subscribe. Please. Like and comment. Have a great day, Ape Nation. Take care. Bye-bye.